Okay, today I'm going to make chocolate cake Swiss roll, and I'll show you how I do it. I take 4 tablespoons of slightly melted butter. I use Kerrygold unsalted butter, 4 pasture raised eggs, and then I'm going to add a half cup of sugar, quarter teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Put this all in here together. I'm going to whisk this together. Like so. In the meantime, I have my oven preheated at 400 degrees, and I have a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. Make this real nice and smooth and blend it together, like so. And then we're going to add 1/3 cup of unsweetened Hershey's cocoa and 1/3 cup of King Arthur bread flour. Put that in there like that. Blend that in. We're adding the flour, like so. And then we're going to put all this on the, once this is blended together, I'm going to put this on the cookie sheet. And I will be letting this bake for, let's see, about 8 to 10 minutes. Now, if you have a hand mixer or something like that, obviously this goes a little faster. I don't have that right now. I had a commercial blender mixer, and I dropped it, and it broke. And then my hand mixer was a cheap one, and it just stopped working. So I'm doing it old school. See here with the whisk, it gets it nice and blended together. Okay, and that's it for that. Now I'm going to put my dishes in the sink, and then I'm going to pour this on a cookie sheet. Here is the cookie sheet with the parchment paper. You want your parchment paper to go further than your tray itself, okay? Because you're going to be rolling this up to let it cool. And you will see then. Okay. So you want this stretched out because it's going to be a thin one, so you want this poured out. Remember, this is going to be a Swiss roll, so you don't want this thick. You want to be able to roll it and keep it smooth and stretched out. So that way it's like thin. It's not paper thin, but it's thin. Like so. Okay, and now I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to spread this out better first. And then I'm going to put this in the oven for 10 minutes, and then I will show you what that looks like and what I do with it. Okay, as you see here, for me it took 8 minutes for mine to bake like this. The pan is hot, so you got to be careful. I'm going to slide this pan out from underneath here, put it right on there. This thing doesn't want to let go. My hand has it, not a problem. Okay. Now, I want this here towel underneath it, but it got stuck in with my oven glove, so that's why that ended up like that. Now we're going to take this. See here? Let's see here. Where's my scissors? Here's my scissors. I'm going to cut this down. So, because I don't need all that extra parchment paper. I just want the parchment paper that's underneath it. Now you want to roll this up while it's warm, because that way when it cools, it'll be in a rolled form, like so. And you're going to let that sit and cool completely. You want that completely cooled, like so. I'm going to give mine an hour. And then I'm going to make my filling. I'm going to show you how I make my filling. And then we'll fill it in. And then we'll sprinkle a little topping on there. And see what it looks like. Okay, now I'm going to make my Swiss roll filling. I'm start off with 8 ounces of room temperature Philadelphia cream cheese. Going to add into that a half cup of powdered sugar. out. And then we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Like so. And then I'm going to add 1/8 ounce of Cool Whip. Like so. I'm going to mix mine with a spoon instead of the spatula, because the stuff is still a little bit on the cool side, not completely warmed and softened. So, okay, we're going to mix this all up. Now, when you're doing your Swiss roll, some people will, they will only roll it up with the parchment paper. Some people will take it off the parchment paper and roll it up with the towel. I've used both. It's been a while since I've made this, maybe at least a year. So, but when I did make it last time, I remember using both. So, whip this, get this all mixed up really good. Blend it together. Cool Whip in that cream cheese with the powdered sugar and the vanilla. You want that nice and smooth. I'm going to get the whisk out for that, for the rest of that, now that I got that blended together nicely. Just want to get those lumps out. I want to whisk all the lumps out. Just keep going at it. I used to be a baker a long time ago when Dunkin' Donuts actually made everything by hand. I would hand cut 5,000 to 6,000 donuts a shift. And the guy who trained me actually was a professional baker. He was there helping out the guy that owned the place. But we used to do everything by hand. We had temperature formulas and really good baking. Now they don't even, most of them, my understanding, don't even make their own donuts. So it's crazy how things are. But that's where and before that, I learned how to cook and bake at home. So, but that was my experience of doing it on the job. Besides, kitchen work, working as a cook. Okay. Now, let's put this aside. And let's roll this out. Let's see how this comes out. Excuse me. Okay. I'm going to separate this like so. Okay, like that. Get that parchment paper out. Going to flip that like so. Go like that with it. Okay. That's what I'm going to do with it. Like that. Slide that onto there. Should have done that a little differently. That was not the best way to do that, but I did accomplish what I was set out to do. And that was get this on the tray. Like so. You could see it started to roll on its own there. Okay. They don't have to look pretty all the time. Remember, you're not trying to make art here. You're trying to make a delicious dessert. And hopefully we end up with a final product that looks good as well. Okay. Let me get the spatula out. What do we do with that? Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get this going. Some people will throw powdered sugar on the bottom. I did not do that. I probably should have. Let's go ahead and see how this works out. Start right here. Like this. Spread this out. Like so. Start to roll that. That's my dog upstairs. Just wanted to get that started. Let's Spread this out. Now, the batch that I made is not gonna, I'm not gonna use it all of the frosting that I put in the middle. Vincent, behave. Vincent, no. No. Sorry. Every time my little chihuahua here hears the neighbor, he, has to have his little knip shit on. So I'm going to keep rolling that like so. Put a little more on this one here. This part came apart on me here because I haven't done this like in over a year, Swiss roll. So I kind of, didn't do those last couple steps the way I wanted to, or the way I should have, but I was still able to salvage it, like so. I'm going to put this here like this, okay? And now, for the topping. We're almost there. Looks pretty good so far, Like I said, it doesn't have to look like art. It just has to taste really good. If you use the right ingredients and take your time, it'll come out fun. Okay. Now, for my topping, I'm going with powdered sugar. Let's go ahead and sprinkle this on. So, like that. And voila, there you have it. A chocolate Swiss roll with a killer filling. I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize for my amateurness when it comes to, the videos. I'm trying the best I can here, so I'm just not as good as others will be at this. I guarantee you, though, if you were eating my food, you would love it. So thank you for those of you that do take the time to watch. I really appreciate your time, and thank you till the next video.